Hello, people. So today I wanted to talk about getting to analysis again in the form of a thesis statement for that essay that's coming up. You have an essay that's due next week, I believe, on the 26th. And my first concern is that you may spend time summarizing the story that you choose and not get all the way to analysis. So the first thing I want to say to you is please know that you don't need to summarize the work. All right? So to help you avoid summarizing, I put up inside the course a handout that looks like this. It's called a Thesis Statement Template, and it is inside the Writing and Analysis Materials module under the Analysis heading. So, how this works is this. First of all, to avoid summarizing and go straight to analysis, you need to write an arguable thesis statement. If you can argue something, feel that you have something to prove, then you won't waste your time summarizing. So I have a couple of different examples here to show you how to build a thesis that is arguable. So first thing you need to do is, please, mention the author and the name of the work. Now, this first paper is a fiction essay, so that means any short story, either on our reading list or out of the textbook. Any short story is fine. Just don't pick a poem and don't pick a play. Okay? Mention the name of the author, like this, Terry Bisson, and the name of the work, his short story, They're Made of Meat. And then you move on to the verb. So you're proving whatever theory that you may have about this short story. For example, you think that maybe he utilizes foreshadowing. You read it and you realized, oh, look at all of those clues. I could have totally seen where this was going way ahead of time. And you decide to write about foreshadowing. So, Bisson uses foreshadowing, and for what purpose? To create tension and heighten the reader's awareness of danger. So, this is the effect on the reader. You, hopefully. You found that when you read it, you had that feeling of tension and that awareness that danger was coming, and you couldn't quite put your finger on where that was coming from. And after reading the story, you realized that you got all of these hints about where this was headed. And that's what you've stated here that you're going to prove. Or, in his play, The Crucible, Arthur Miller employs repetition to increase emotion, causing sympathy for John Proctor. Again, that is an arguable thesis. That is something you can prove. You can point to quotes and say, here, what Proctor says or what happens to Proctor makes the reader feel sympathy for him. Okay, so that's provable. Or maybe this one, O. Henry contrasts street language with sophisticated wordplay to amplify empathy on the part of the reader toward the main characters. That is also something provable. You can point to specific quotes, and that is how you will back up this argument that you're going to write. Basically, a literary analysis is you proving some theory or point that you feel is being made in the story. So you have an argument, you need an arguable thesis, and hopefully this particular template will help you to write an arguable thesis and avoid summary. Thanks.